Thank you for watching. Today we're taking a look at the HPI RS4 Sport 3. I think everybody has seen this thing come by. If you follow Ken Block on Instagram, for example, you will have seen this thing come by for the past year and a half, 2 years. Everybody knows that HPI had a few hiccups in their transition to new ownership. That's also why the venture took some time to actually arrive. Well, same with this Hoonicorn. Back in 2015, I think I did, or late 2015, they released Gymkhana 7 Wild in the Streets of LA. That's also when this Ford Mustang completely broke the internet. At least in my opinion it did. It was such a rad design. I think it still is. It got revamped right now, so in the most recent version that you've seen, perhaps in a Gymkhana, I'll make sure to link some of those videos in the video description. They got two turbos poking out of the hood, and they got like an American flag, but this is the OG, to put it popular. So this is the initial version of the Hoonicorn as it appeared online. I love the look. I love the look of it so much that back in the day I painted up, that sounds like I'm really old, and I guess I am, but back in the day I painted up a 5th scale body with this exact paint scheme. So that's also why I know that HPI really nailed it when it comes to the looks of it. I've been looking at pictures of this thing for such a long time, looking at all the sponsor decals, all of the tiny details that went on in the paintwork, because mine was 100% paint, and I had a great fun doing that. I have to mention one other guy, a guy I know from Belgium, Davy de Weert. He did the first 10th scale HPI Hoonicorn, and he did a magnificent job on his. I think HPI maybe has seen a few of those builds appear online, knew that it was a popular platform, and decided to release this one. A ton of info in the box, like for example that it has metal gear differential, sealed drive shaft, that it's 4-wheel drive, licensed parts, yep yada. It comes with a nickel metal hydride 2000 milliamp battery included. They didn't include that one in mine because they know that I throw those away anyway. It comes with 4 AA batteries for your radio, and I think that that's enough of a look at the box because I don't really do boxes. With that nickel metal hydride battery, you also get this Trickle Charger. This is really useful if you are new to RC, but I think most people like me who are into the hobby for a few years, that you have like a decent charger, and then you won't be using this. In case you are using this Trickle Charger, it will take a fair amount of time to actually charge your battery, but it is cool that it's included, so we will make sure that you can actually go out and run it in your parking lot ASAP. I'm saying in your parking lot, this is really like a fun on-road car. This is not like a competitive drifter or anything. You can of course turn it into one, but that's not, I think, the way that it was intended. You get some stickers in case you want to put more HPI logos on there. You can actually go and do that. Some warranty information, very complete manual. As always, HPI includes a good looking manual with all the parts numbers, some exploded views, and some instructions in case you are completely new to RC. Then I do recommend diving into this thing before you actually take it out. In case, like me, you are a bit more seasoned, you will just put this thing in a drawer and lay it away until you break something and you need to figure out the parts number. Comes with this TF40 radio. As I said, it takes 4 AA's. So that keeps it a bit lightweight. I love these radios. They're lightweight. They're really decent quality. The range on them is good. It has a collapsible antenna, 2.4 gigahertz. So no dicking around with crystals anymore. On-off switches over here on the back. All of your trim switches are located at the top over here. There's a 3rd channel button over here as well. So everything is within reach. Foam wheel. Chrome rim tap, thingamabob. I like this. It's a very decent radio actually to be included with ready to run. Now onto the body, because this is of course what everybody wants to see, or this was what I wanted to see, and they so nailed all of the details that I don't even know where to start, but we will just go over it. There's a lot of faux carbon and stuff going on. You will see that in some of the close-up shots. At first this looks like a really simplistic paint scheme, and it looks like they just painted it black, put some Monster Energy logos on there, and called it a day, but that's absolutely not the case. There's a lot of carbon wrapping going on around that front spoiler, the front bumper, All of the sponsor decals are on there. They're placed in all their right positions. And I think that overall the thing just looks super cool. Has of course this air scoop in the front that's so characteristic for that Hoonicorn. Makes it look really cool. These side air intakes, these are actually bolted on, so they're put in from the inside, and then there's a couple of screws keeping them in place. Otherwise it would have been impossible to create this much detail in a 10 scale body or in a Lexan body to begin with. That's also why you see a separate rear bumper with a big diffuser and then this spoiler. All of those parts are bolted on. I can't get over how detailed this thing actually looks. If I do need to nitpick, then I wish that would have left those windows clear, just so you can perhaps create an interior or whatnot. They didn't do that, not that big of a deal. It will be fairly easy to cut this out and make something inside in case I do want to go that route. Now, the wheels and tires. These are, well, like I said, it's rubber wheels. This is not a car that's intended for a drift track or whatnot, at least not out of the box. This is really a parking lot, outdoorsy, tarmac parking garage, whatever you have close by. It's intended for that type of use. So there's rubber tires. There's these 1552 licensed rims. In their typical gold color. If you're familiar with, for example, the Arma Outcast, you will be familiar with these rims. Because the Arma Outcast also has them, but in black. When you take the body off, you have a full look at that chassis. Again, I'm not familiar with these. I know that the RS4 platform has been around for quite a while. So you got a plastic tub chassis, everything with nice hardware. This is a part that we will get to a tiny bit later. Let's start from the front. You got a foam bumper that gets clamped into place with a support that also acts as the front body support. So all of that is nice and compact. Behind that you got actually, it's an aluminum caster block or steel caster block. I think this is cast aluminum. That's pretty peculiar because that's also going on in the back. So I'm thinking that it will make it a tiny bit more sturdy. Front diff housing that doubles as a sort of like a bulkhead. So your shock tower also comes from that front diff housing. There you have a few different shock positions if you want to tune it a tiny bit. The turnbuckles, they're all plastic, but they're quite thick, so there's no tunability there. But again, this is a fairly basic car, mostly to just take it out immediately, go have some fun. These steering links as well, they're plastic, they're non-adjustable, but I don't see anything wrong with the way that it is laid out currently. Dog bones in the front, full ball bearings throughout the entire car. So no CVDs, but even with the dog bones you get some good throw on that steering. Everything is steel. The lower A-arms, they're pretty beefy, so they're not completely cut out or whatnot. They're actually a pretty solid design. Now the central drive shaft is completely covered up with this plastic cover. So this is of course our four-wheel drive car, just like the real deal. This feels really smooth, by the way. In case you want to have easy access, you can take this top cover off, but you can also drop this bottom cover. That will, I think, also give you access to the spur gear. So that's 4 screws in the back, 2 in the front, to just disassemble that whole thing in case you want to do some maintenance or in case you break something. Behind here there is what looks like a stamped aluminum acronym. Which then goes to where you would expect the servo saver to be and where it actually isn't. Actually leads up a tiny bit further to a servo horn that has a servo saver built into it. The servo is a laid down construction. I'm not sure if this is the exact same servo that you would find on the HPI Venture. But if it is, then I have no doubt that in this car it actually will perform and be up to the task. In the Venture I found it to be like a tiny bit too weak with those big wheels. It had trouble turning them into a different direction. The receiver box is mounted on top of the servo. I can imagine that this thing is fairly waterproof, or at least splash proof. This is as far as I know, a waterproof ESC. Will run both nickel metal hydride and LiPo batteries. I'm going to run LiPos in mine. If you want to do that, you take one of those tabs out and you adjust it accordingly. On-off switch is mounted on the side, and the only thing that's a bit of a bummer is this Tamiya plug, because this is, I think, a plug that most people don't use anymore. If you do want to use the battery that is included, you're all set, because that hooks straight up to this one. Good thing though, it has a fairly long lead, so it will be easy to solder Deans to this. 15 turn brushed motor, an immense motor mount. So again, that's like a cast aluminum or whatever it is, but it almost looks over dimensioned. So I can imagine that if you want to put some brushless power in this thing, for example, that won't be too much of an issue. Well, dog bones in the back again as well. Again, full ball bearings. That aluminum caster block all the way in the back. And then, well, the same diff housing, shock tower and everything that you would find in the front. The shocks, they're plastic bodied, but they feel pretty good. Quite stiff suspension. These are oil-filled shocks. Threaded shock bodies, so you can adjust the ride height a tiny bit. And again, plenty of shock positions, both on the lower A-arms, but also on the shock tower. Big compartment for your battery with like a tiny bump stop or whatever you want to call it in the front that you can actually take off in case you want to run even bigger batteries. Comes with a Velcro strap, so it will actually accommodate most batteries that are available. And I guess that sort of wraps it up. I think running this thing in the parking garage and attempting to shoot some sort of scale video with it, making it look hopefully a tiny bit spectacular, is something that I'm really looking forward to. In case you want to have just like a display piece, I think with a body that looks this detailed, this thing will also completely be up to the task. I know that a lot of the feedback on the Venture was the non-availability at the time when I unboxed it. Then it got postponed a couple of times. This one is actually already available. I'm also thinking that all of the spare parts issues have been solved by now. A-Main Hobbies is one of the new distributors for HPI in the United States. So if you want to check out one of these HPIs for yourself, then go check out A-Main Hobbies. I believe a link to their website in the video description. Also, of course, a link to HPI's website where there are plenty more specs on this car and plenty more pictures as well. Well, that was a pretty long story. In case you have any questions, leave them in the comments box and I will reply to you, because I reply to all of my comments. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's very much free. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button. Alrighty, I'm gonna do some hooning of my own, I think. Put a battery in this thing, fire it up, see what it can do. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.
Back on.